How to start using our new reduction in yield calculator. Consumer Duty asks firms to evidence that clients understand the cost of their investments. Explaining what the reduction in yield means to a client in a way that changes the conversation rather than just satisfying a requirement has always been the harder part. Our new reduction in yield calculator helps you turn a percentage into a real conversation. You can access the RIY case directly from your homepage or through any client's dashboard. For today's walkthrough, we'll select an existing client who is 45 and still in her accumulation phase. Then create a new case comparing her existing plan against the proposed one over a 15-year term. Once you've created a case, you have two options for adding your policies. You can import them from Intelliflo or Finio, saving you from rekeying the underlying holdings and plan details. We'll import our client's existing policy from Intelliflo. Simply select Import Policy, and you'll see the policies available from Intelliflo ready to import. Your client must be linked to Intelliflo before starting the case. Once we've checked the policy information and underlying holdings have imported correctly, we can add any contributions or withdrawals for the case. We'll add a £500 contribution into the policy every month for the foreseeable future and save the policy. We'll now build our proposed policy with a change in investment strategy. We need to fill in the policy information, including the policy owner, platform, provider, policy type, policy number, and fund value. Once that's done, click Manage Policy to add the underlying holdings. You can choose funds, an MPS, build a custom portfolio, or select from your saved CIP. We'll also add a £500 contribution here for a like-for-like comparison. You can add an initial charge too, if relevant. Once you've added both policies, save them and proceed to the growth rate page. The growth rate page gives you flexibility over the growth rates you use for this case. Whether you're using EV or Phenometrica as your risk profile, you can match the client's returns by choosing the appropriate risk profile. You can also apply a specific growth rate option according to your firm's forecasted returns, set up in your settings, or the FCA returns or the fund's returns for the mid-growth rate. To keep this a fair, like-for-like comparison, we'll select the FCA tax-exempt growth rate for both policies, so the growth applied is identical across both, regardless of the underlying funds used. That means any difference in the outcome comes down to charges alone. It's worth noting that you can toggle low, mid, and high rates on or off to stress test outcomes in the results page. Once your growth rates are selected, continue to the charges page, where you can use projected values or specify the charges in detail. You can add a monetary figure for the projected values across the low, mid, and high scenarios, or, on the detailed charges view, edit every fund charge, including initial charge, OCF, transaction costs, and all other charges such as MPS, platform charges, and ongoing advisor charges. You can also go deeper into the platform and advisor charges by choosing stepped, tiered, or fixed charges across the banding of your choice. With your charges added, you can now compare the results and download the report. If you've selected low, mid, and high as options, you can toggle across them to stress test the scenarios. The results page gives you a comprehensive view of the net worth of each policy after charges, alongside the net yield and reduction in yield, including the total charges calculated for the timeframe you selected initially. The existing policy is compared directly against the proposed policy in clear terms for its growth and yield. For a more illustrative view of the charges, select each plan individually to see the impact of charges going forward, or use the combined view of the net value, clearly illustrating the added value of the proposed plan. The year-by-year breakdown lays out, in pounds and pence, the charges that could affect the client, based on the growth rates chosen, side by side for a clear comparison. The last step is to download the report as a PDF. As with all Fintegrate reports, you can select which pages to include. To update your logo, cover image, brand colours, welcome page, or company information, go to the Settings page at the top right of your screen.